Okay, guys, where we last left off, we were talking about Shredit's Consumer Fraud Awareness Survey. One third said that they've been a victim of fraud or identity theft. One third said they don't shred their papers or documents containing sensitive information before throwing them away. And 51% reuse their passwords. Oh, no. So, Password Manager, such as LastPass, that's the one I recommend. It's got a great enterprise version and interacts with Active Directory. It can give you password strength. It can do individual profiles and shared password groups, all kinds of fun stuff. Anyways, best one I can recommend out there. There are things like single sign-on and two-factor authentication. Two-factor authentication is when you log into a website. If you've ever had it pop up and say, hey, we just sent you a text message. What is it? Type it in. That's two-factor authentication. And there's different ways you can do that. It doesn't have to be through text message, but those kind of things can really help you out. So some takeaways from all this stuff. Look, investing in technology, it's critical, right? Staff skills training, also critical. Incident remediation, costly, expensive. No one wants to do it. So don't. And any sort of problems that show up and are made public, they can really erode client, fellow employee trust, and can damage your reputation in ways that can take you years to recover from. It's not worth it. Now, talked about being brilliant at the basics. I gave you those 4 points. Solves a lot of problems. Can really help you prevent these issues from happening in the first place. But just because it's simple doesn't mean it's easy. And sticking with it is the most important thing. Now, lots of world events that we can learn from that can kind of give us some perspective and some guidance in terms of what we can do. This one I'm going to bring up over here. This was in September of 2018, so this was a few months ago. These hackers kind of geographically laser targeted Conway, Arkansas. Pretty random, right? And they were able to get all the businesses infected with ransomware. And according to recent results, 50% of the businesses were unable to recover their data. As we know, 60% of organizations that are hit with a ransomware attack go out of business within 12 months. Obviously, 12 months have not gone by, but we can expect a lot of businesses to go under as a result of this. So, takeaway here is that we're probably going to have a lot of highly targeted, upcoming, geography-based attacks. In fact, one thing that happened recently was in Stuart, Florida. There was an instance of the Ryuk ransomware. Took down the small city services, so things like email, and so the police email, the fire department's email is still down, but payroll and incident response services, those were all affected by a ransomware attack, and it all came in through a phishing email, one random computer, and that was it. So that didn't make it into this slide deck, but you can look that up for yourself. Stuart, Florida, happened recently, just a couple weeks ago. So in December of 2018, 500 million customer data was stolen from the Marriott chain. Now, this database that was stolen, it included names, mailing addresses, phone number, email address, passport number, Starwood preferred guest account information, or SPG account information, date of birth, gender, arrival and departure information, reservation date, and credit card information for over 500 million guests. Gone, right? So could it be that China was monitoring the guests to and from the hotel chain? Because I'm telling you, this breach looked more like espionage than straight up theft. They had been actively inside the Marriott's network for an unknown period of time, months or even perhaps years, and security experts say that it's likely that they were watching the goings on rather than straight up stealing information from Marriott. Who here has heard of Exactus? I haven't heard of them, not until they were breached. Now, they are one of many data aggregation companies. These are data mining companies. This breach happened in September 2018. It's one of the worst breaches that has occurred, but not a lot of people have heard of it, and it's probably because they don't understand what it is. Now, Exactus, what they do, their business is creating profiles about people, and that's based on their browsing patterns, social media, shopping, and even driving patterns. And then they take this information to advertisers so they can better target you with their products. So have you ever wondered how ads seem to magically show up on your phone or computer screen and seem to have like read your mind and know exactly what you're looking for? Well, now you know why. Now, unfortunately, Exactus left their database exposed to criminals who then stole it and gathered the email addresses, home addresses, and phone numbers, as well as other personal information like habits, hobbies, and the number, ages, and genders of the person's children for over 340 million Americans. So that's basically everyone in this country. So here's your takeaway: dark web services. So you can go to this website, haveibeenpawned.com. I know it's spelled a little bit weird, but started by this Australian guy a couple of years ago. Started, putting all these data breaches that have occurred, putting them into a big searchable database that can then be, benefited to the community. There are some other dark web monitoring services. I know Experian, after their nuclear fallout of their compromise, they started offering this to some of their clients. I think the first year was free, and then it was, $35 or $40 a year, something like that. But you can at least start by looking at haveibeenpawned.com and looking into some dark web monitoring services. We do them for businesses rather than individuals, so you can reach out to us if you're interested in that. But the idea is that you want some sort of service that's watching you, looking out for your back. Dark web monitoring is the way to do it. So, recap. We know that the risk is real. We know that job preservation is key. You want to keep your job, right? Right. In these incidents, they erode client and fellow employee trust. It can't be recovered very easily or quickly, so it's cheaper and easier just to be preventative and proactive about it. Now, you do want to retain and attract talented people to your organization, don't you? I'm assuming this is key, right? Now, a little while back, I was on Insights on PBS Hawaii. We talked about retaining and recruiting qualified people for your organization. And while I was explaining things from their perspective, from the younger generation or millennial perspective, now I don't want to say millennials because they're just people. And if you watch that PBS episode, you'll see me defending them. We kind of heard all this chatter kind of going on amongst the studio staff behind me. And, I didn't really think much of it while I was talking. But afterward, they mentioned, they came up to me and they were like, "Hey, you get us." And it was weird because after the episode aired, we would get like these phone calls to our office, from calls from other frustrated young adults who were like, "Yeah, you get us." Like, it's frustrating for us. They want to work for reputable organizations that respect them and the customers that they serve. My question to you is, can improving your cybersecurity posture elevate your entire company, making it attractive and sustainable for future generations? I believe that it can. So, I thank you for listening. I give you, my blessing to go out and do good work and protect your organization. If you want to download these slides in a PDF format, go to sostechsolutions.com, go to resources on that drop-down menu and click on HCUL. Password there is Aloha, all in caps. We're going to put that up there for the next 10 days or so. And, I also want to make sure that I give back to the community. So in that same place, you'll be able to put in your email address and you can, be on the waiting list for that audiobook as it comes. And, I just want to thank you again for listening. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to reach out to us by email or phone or text, or you can simply post in the comments below. I'll do my best to get back to you. Thanks so much for listening, and aloha.